Hello and welcome to Take Time. I am your host, Patrick Marlett. Today, 2 is the magic number. 2 tones, 2 levels, and 2 time zones. Everything's better in pairs, and the geography by Bravur is a keen reminder of that. Before we begin the video today, I'd like to mention that this piece is only being lent in for review, so a special thanks goes out to Magnus and of course the Bravur team for sending this piece out my way. Now, as I do with all my reviews here on the channel, I like to start with the bad and then move on to the good before giving my final verdict on a review item. So without further ado, let's talk geography. The geography is made from Sandvik stainless steel produced in Sweden and features a 2-step crown with a 5 Atmos water resistance rating. Up top is a domed sapphire crystal with AR coating on the interior, and opposite is another sapphire crystal displaying the Sellita SW330-1 movement beating inside. Each geography is hand-built in Sweden and paired with one of a variety of vegetable tanned leather straps and accompanied with a leather watch pouch. If simple and elegant aren't your thing, you might not like this watch. Really though, this watch has a particular style. I'm reluctant to say Bajas, as that's generally how folks refer to any design that relies on the bare minimum, and this does so much more than that. However, it's dripping with details that you don't pick up at first glance, which can lead to a bad first impression, and with a price tag as matured as Bravur's, it can be a difficult sell. I think the only bad note I took away from this watch has nothing to do with it at all. Folks are accustomed to expecting more for less these days, and that mentality has bridged its way into the watch market. I think the largest deterrent here will be its price tag, but for those of you looking into Bravur, what I can say is expect more for the right price. Now let's talk about that magical number 2, starting with the glorious 2-tone dial. The sparkling white geography features a curved silver and white dial with applied hour markers on the raised surface of its sun ray finish. The stark white coloration in the center is also found on the outer edges of the dial, which can be missed unless spotted under the gliding seconds hand. Also hidden away is the phrase Swedish soul, Swiss heart, and matching color tone to the GMT hand and 24-hour scale it tracks. The blue accents of this dial help punctuate the recessed portions of the watch face, while the tall applied markers accentuate the raised platform they rest upon. If you were ever interested in learning what makes a simple design elegant, Bravur offers the perfect example. Interestingly enough, the offset Bravur text on the dial, which would normally drive me up the wall, seems perfectly at place over by the 3 o'clock position. When you have a design with perfect symmetry, your initial thought is to follow it through. However, instead of going with the conventional, Bravur stands decidedly right of center. This small detail reminds you that nothing is ever truly perfect, but what many of us would consider a glaring fault, as evidence of those that too criticize the Christopher Ward text, is one of this design's greatest strengths. Bravur is clearly beyond the ordinary, and how they advertise themselves says it as well. It's a minor detail, but it's the summation of all these little things that elevate a simple design to being an enduring one. The semi-skeletonized hands that stroke the hours, the seal atop the pivot point where those hands rest, down to the spacing of the numerals being equidistant in their orbit around the dial. It's all clearly well thought and executed here. Nothing unflattering or off-center aside from our brand's name, and it all leads to a piece that's perfectly sophisticated yet different to its general competition. It features everything you need from a GMT series, with highlights and touches that are uniquely Bravur's own. There are 7 different leather options for the geography, but this one is easily my favorite. Here we have the sparkling white dial option with a tan leather strap on a 7 1/4 inch wrist. This is what it'll look like for all of your admirers, and when you are going to admire it, it's going to look a little something like this. Here, Bravur makes a compelling case for the traveler's watch, one that does not need to be overly boisterous, intensely sporty, or downright loud. It has a passive, easygoing elegance that's the epitome of refined simplicity. Wherever you're going, you'll know what time it is there with a watch that feels right at home. Again, My name is Patrick Marlett, and thank you for the time.